Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to tonight's Oregon High School Lacrosse Association State Championship game. We have Jesuit Crusaders versus the Lakeridge Pacers. Ida B. Wells and the Oregon High School Lacrosse Association welcome you, and we promote good sportsmanship by participants and fans at all athletic events. Sportsmanship is about respect for opponents, officials, teammates, coaches, and especially for the game itself. Booing, negative cheers, or derogatory comments directed at individual players, officials, or coaches is prohibited. Now, let's welcome the Lakeridge Pacers. The Lakeridge Pacers starting lineup at attack, Enzio Fedrizzi. Number 5, Davis Reardon. Number 6, Jason Wilbur. Your starting middies, number 24, Cash Groves. Number 7, Charlie Coyne. Number 8, Sean McCarty. Your starting defense, number 20, Kelly Lamb. Number 2, Charlie Nauheim. Number 17, Ryan Wallace. And in goal, number 1, Nolan Garcia. And now the starting lineup for the Jesuit Crusaders. At attack, number 3, Brady Bain. And number 2, Goose Beto. Number 26, George Malkiel. At midi, number 7, Thomas Bui. Number 5, Ryan Jack. Number 27, Gavin McGarry. At defense, number 35, Owen Vance. Number 19, William Gilster. Number 15, Whitney Stanley. And in goal, number 22, Trace Spreen. Your officials for tonight, we have referee Russell Dean in his 5th state champion finals performance. Your umpire Tom Hopper, also in his 5th year. Field judge James Strohecker, his 1st year. And your bench official is Mark Monson in his 2nd year. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget the concession stand is open with all the cold drinks. And at halftime, we'll be announcing the all-state teams, so stay tuned for that.
Hello and welcome to the Oregon High School Lacrosse Association State Championship game for 2025 between the top-seeded Jesuit Crusaders and the second-seeded Lakeridge Pacers. My name is Seth Orensky, joined by my esteemed
Gonna make him work for this one.
By my esteemed colleague Dave Sanford, as I completely had a blank there. And the good thing is we're not going to have a blank about these two teams. It's hard to, when you look at the phenomenal exploits they've had on the field these past couple of years. Jesuit looking for a fourth consecutive title. Lakeridge has been the team that's been the runner-up in 2022 and 2024. How do they find a way for that first official title since 2013?
Lakeridge has some significant advantages at certain positions going into this game. All-American goalie Nolan Darcy, the senior, headed to Bama on an ROTC scholarship. Perhaps the biggest lacrosse game of the rest of his life about to happen here. Their defense, top to bottom, all going to play big-time college lacrosse. All gigantic, all ferocious. Their face-off guy, one of the best in the state. In Cash Groves, he's committed to D1 Queens. Jesuit, a ton of weapons on the other side, more than we can mention in a short open. They move the ball on offense so well, but can Lakeridge keep them from having the ball? That's the question.
Well, you mentioned Jesuit's offense, 8 different goal scorers. Both of these teams started slow, at least for how we're used to seeing them on Wednesday. Jesuit was only up 4-2 after one. Lakeridge didn't score their first goal until the final 2 minutes of the quarter. The crowd is electric. It's a matchup of two Goliaths in different ways. Lakeridge has allowed 5 goals or less in every game this season against Oregon competition. They have not lost in the state of Oregon this year. Jesuit has scored 13 or more goals in every game this year, with the exception of one against Oregon competition, a 5-4 overtime loss back on April the 12th in the Fritz Hayes Classic. Winning the face-off first is Lakeridge with the ball, moving from right to left in their road blue jerseys. Jesuit in the home whites, as they are the top seed, looking to be the first team ever to win 4 consecutive OHSLA titles. On the opposite side, Lakeridge looking for their record 6th OHSLA title, and that doesn't count their 2021 Metro title, in which they beat Jesuit in the title matchup. The 7th all-time meeting between these two teams in the postseason, tied at 3-3. First shot of the game, and it's a save from Trace Spreen as he denies Charlie Coyne.
Lakeridge not afraid to push the tempo and shoot early. Spreen meets the first challenge.
Looking to create some space and absorbing a big hit, but able to get the ball over for Davis Reardon in tight, and his shot floats just a little high and wide. It is very obvious from our vantage point right next to the press box that we are going to have an electric atmosphere here at Ida B. Wells High School. Lakeridge fans on the offensive side of the ball right now. The Jesuit fans hoping the ball comes down their way, as they will be on that right side of the field tonight. Kellen Aird with it. Aird will push it out. That first game went to overtime, as this look is another save for Spreen, but picks up by Enzo Federizi. In that first matchup, it was Kellen Aird who scored the game winner in OT. So here's a third look, and this time Spreen is able to hold on off the look from Davis Reardon. So Jesuit, who are known for their offense, certainly a strong defensive team, and Trace Spreen able to come through as defender nearly stepped over, and it was nearly the first flag of the contest just 2 minutes in.
A great defensive stand for Jesuit, a solid 2-minute possession for Lakeridge. Jesuit with the ball now.
Working with it is Elliot Heyer, one of those 8 goal scorers in Wednesday's victory over OES. Jesuit certainly had the easier time winning 17-1 over OES. Lakeridge had to really put on a show in the second half as they earned a 12-3 win over West Lint. First look of the day, and there's the first save of the day for Nolan Darcy as he denies Ryan Jack. I don't think either goalie wants to work hard today, but they're certainly capable of stealing the show.
In both possessions for both teams, you're seeing them get more than one shot in their offensive sets. Defenses are going to have to come up with possession-ending plays so that they're not on defense for extended period of time.
Deuce Bechtold opens the scoring almost 3 minutes in. It was a good screen there from Elliott Heyer that rubbed off a defender. And it is Bechtold, the senior All-American who had a hat trick on Wednesday, who makes it 1-0 in favor of the top-seeded Crusaders. Remember, this Lakeridge team doesn't give up goals often. The 3 goals they gave up on Wednesday were their most goals allowed in the last 10, but they haven't been playing Jesuit during that stretch, and Jesuit's offense is one of the best in the entire state, if not the best. We've got a whistle and some communication between our referees. Dave, what you got?
Got an inadvertent whistle is what they're saying. I was imagining Jesuit was so excited to beat Cash Groves on that faceoff that they were calling timeout to protect the ball as it was contested there. But incidental whistle, which is a great opportunity for Jesuit to get into a settled possession and run their offense.
Yeah, I also thought there was a timeout, and I also thought that was very odd timing for a timeout this early into the game.
Yeah.
Davis Dolp with it. Dolp loses his footing. Saw a lot of that in the All-Star game today. Did not see a lot of that on Wednesday with the 2 semifinals. As it's Bechtold with it. Pushing it up for Thatcher Killian, the future Richmond Spider. Killian sends it in front, and a low shot that hits the inside of the bar there from Bechtold. Great look that beat the keeper, and now a Jesuit player goes down, and the whistle will go against the Pacers. This is an experienced crew. Multiple referees who are working their 4th or 5th state championship game. But it's going to be a difficult game for them with the physicality from both of these teams. And certainly some crowd influence. Getting in tight and losing the ball just as he was about to shoot was Davis Dolp, and now we've got our first flag of the day. Jesuit will have a man-up opportunity unless they're able to score here, and Brady Bain will pull it out. Lakeridge had the ball for the first 2 minutes, but it's been all Jesuit since, and that shot is knocked down and out by Brady Bain, and we will see Jesuit go a man up.
Going to have a high cross-check call on Lakeridge officials. Tough job in this game. Where's the line between how much physicality you allow in a big game, in a big time game like this, versus keeping players safe? When the hits are coming in high, pretty easy for the referees to know to throw those flags.
Yeah, and that's a tough loss. It's Oregon High School Lacrosse Association Player of the Year, Kelly Lamb, who's whistled for the penalty. So Lakeridge, who has a defense stacked full of very high-level defenders, will lose their number 1 defender for this first man-up opportunity today for Jesuit. Already leading 1-0. It's Heyer, and a good look and a goal from Brady Bain. Quickly 2-0.
Nope.
I saw the net ripple there, but
I did too, and I looked down. I'm not sure if it hit the side of the net or if somebody was in the crease.
either way, it will go the other way, and this is Nolan Darcy on the ride. Darcy still with it. Darcy, good pass back door. It's 1-1. A man-down goal from Davis Reardon.
What a phenomenal change of tempo right there. Lakeridge capitalizing on the mistake on their end when everybody stopped thinking there was a goal. Nolan Darcy puts the team on his back, runs all the way down the field. What a pass to set up Davis Reardon for a dunk. 1-1.
We saw it a lot on Wednesday where Jesuit's going to go with that kind of ride. They're going to make the goalie be forced into decisions like that. Nolan Darcy, the All-American, very calm, and a great look for Davis Reardon. Nice patient look there, and Reardon able to beat Trey Spreen. So instead of going 2-0, it's 1-1, and it is still a man-up opportunity here for Jesuit, but they're whistled for the infraction. Pass backside, and it's 2-1, two man-down goals, and then a little bit of a look-see there from Enzo Federici, who was frustrated after getting knocked down, and Lakeridge having some fun on the bench.
They are rowing the boat across Lake Oswego right now. Huge face-off win there, pushing in transition fearlessly, man down, and another great offensive opportunity. Hit came in a little bit late from Jesuit. You saw the Lakeridge, the other attackman running in, grabbing Fidrisi, making sure that he didn't get any penalties for chirping. They've got their eyes on what's important here.
What a turn of events. As Jesuit feels like they kind of need this face-off as they are still a man up. Kelly Lamb is still kneeling over there on the sideline, and Jesuit has given up a pair of man-down goals. Not something that I expected to say today, especially on their first man-up opportunity of the day. So instead of getting that goal, or we apologize, we didn't see it. It is now a 2-1 game, and we are back to even strength. So Lakeridge, who had that long first possession and not seen much of the offensive end, now 2 quick goals, and they will set up. Had quite a few looks their first offensive possession, but unable to beat Trey Spreen. Had, I think, 3 saves on the possession. And Enzo Federizi trying to battle his way through traffic, and we've got a flag. And looks like this will go against Jesuit.
Looks like an interference call of some variety as far as I can tell. Didn't see what the actual penalty was when it happened. But based on what the referee's signaling, probably something that happened off ball.
It's the face-off man, Thomas Bowie, who is going to take a knee. First man-up opportunity of the day for Lakeridge.
Very early in the game, momentum can flip on a dime. But Lakeridge not being afraid to be aggressive in round 1, throwing some big body blows.
Well, and already we've seen Jesuit concede 2 man-down goals. Now what can Jesuit do on the other side here? Can they hold Lakeridge down? Last thing you want to do is go down multiple goals. Now, with Jesuit's offense, they should have some confidence, but this Lakeridge offense, just like the Jesuit defense, has some skill, as we're going to see a second player head off for Jesuit, and I think it's going to be William Gilster maybe for high slash. So it'll be 2 men up for Lakeridge with 5:55 to go, and this feels like a pretty big moment early on in this contest, especially if Lakeridge can show off their defensive muscle. This might not be a game where Jesuit scoring in the teens to even high teens. This might be a game either team is going to have to win in the single digits. Working slowly as we're now back to just 1 man up for Lakeridge. First penalty is waved off. Davis Reardon will have to retreat. And Bowie will head back to the bench. Penalty on Gilster still going as that pass is knocked down, but time and space for Kellen Aert.
Lakeridge very patient on the man up. Not forcing the ball inside.
They have Federizi wide open in the back post, but they'll elect to pass it back to the top. Here's Federizi to the middle, wide open player, and making it 3-1 is number 10, Beckett Godfrey. It's a really nice feed from Federizi, and it's the 3rd goal from 3 different goal scorers.
The body language of these teams in the huddles after that goal scored entirely different. Jesuit players moving slowly to come together, seemingly concerned. They didn't seem to know where that cutter was at the end of that last man down opportunity. The face-offs, if Cash Grove can continue to stack possession after possession, can be a huge thing for Lakeridge here.
We have a violation on Cash Groves, and it'll go to Jesuit. 3 straight goals, all coming with either a man up or a man down for Lakeridge. And now Jesuit back into their half-field offense, and hopefully for them they can settle in. They had a good start. We thought they were up 2-0, but whistle goes against them, and ever since it's been all Lakeridge. That first goal coming maybe 10 to 15 seconds after Ball rippled the back of the net, or maybe the back side of the back of the net. Here's a shot from distance that skips just wide from Thatcher Killian. The one thing that I would guess is that this Jesuit team is not going to be rattled under Mike Marcotte by an early 3-1 deficit.
No, the score at this point in the game is definitely not something that will be a concern with them. They're just got to be focused on finding their flow on offense, balancing a little more possession time, and working together. We're seeing guys carrying the ball a lot longer than we tend to see with Jesuit. Usually we see a lot more quick passing and in-motion offense than solo dodging. Higher behind the net for Malkiel, and now Thatcher Killian. Killian looking to get to the top, now turns, and his pass is deflected, but right to Higher. 4 minutes to go in the first quarter. 3-1 in favor of the 2-seed Lakeridge. Back up top for Bechtold, has the lone goal thus far for the Crusaders. They swing it around for Ryan Jack, another one of their All-Americans. 5 of the 7 in the state of Oregon are playing in this game. As making the save is Nolan Darcy, and then his defender will just lay the ball down for him. That was Kelly Lamb with the assist. And we'll see if Lakeridge can get their first goal in their half-field offense, as that is knocked away from the stick there of Alex Sly. Ball's loose, and we're going to get a whistle, and it will go back to Jesuit. Lakeridge fans didn't like that call. I don't know if any call is going to be liked by half the fans here. That seems fair. This time Jesuit wins the restart, moves it to the backside quickly, where Brady Bain puts it away to make it a 3-2 game. Brady Bain scored, or we thought he scored earlier on, and this time he officially finds the back of the net. So it's now 3-2 with 3:18 to go. And this is oddly a little bit higher scoring than maybe the numbers would say this game would be. Remember, the first game 5-4 in overtime, favor of Lakeridge. But I think this pace and this scoring style probably favors Jesuit long term. Yeah, I think a higher scoring game in the end is going to favor the team with more threats and offense for sure. Question is going to be how much they're going to have the ball to take advantage of those opportunities. Bryce Hidalgo wins the faceoff, and Kurt Shaden and his staff will call timeouts. Shaden, the Three Rivers Conference Coach of the Year. His assistant, Pete Lamb, the assistant coach of the year for the conference and the state. He's also assisted by Frank Obiasi, Vinton Sowers, and James Williams. 3-2, almost 9 minutes in, and as we catch our breath, Dave, what's your initial take on this one? The biggest surprise to me is the 3 goals on special teams for Lakeridge at this point. They definitely showed a lot of courage attacking when they were man down rather than holding on to the ball. That fearless approach really has helped them thus far. I think it's really important. We're seeing guys rise to the occasion. If you camera probably can't see how full these stands are, but there is not an empty seat in sight. Much bigger crowd than probably a lot of fully sanctioned OSAA sports are getting for their state championships. Looks like a football game. There are so many people here. Student sections are on their feet. Everybody's totally engaged. A very special game for all of these players to get to be a part of. They've all worked really hard to get here, and they are putting on a great show for all of us. Coming out of the timeout, it will be Lakeridge with the ball. And you figure if you're Lakeridge, you just want to score 1-for-1 with Jesuit throughout this game. Big thing you don't want to do is allow Jesuit to do what they did on Wednesday, which was score the last 15 goals of the game and just put them away. That was OES. We saw Lakeridge kind of do a similar thing against West Lynn. It was 1-1 at halftime, and then they were able to score 11 of the final 13 goals. But Lakeridge does not typically rack up as many goals. It's just their defense that has been so solid this year, especially as of late, giving up below 3 goals per game over the last dozen contests. Working with it is Davis Reardon. That's one of the 3 goals to this point. Reardon will take the shot, and that's a missile that's wide. And backing him up and keeping possession there is Jason Wilbur, the D1 Queens University of Charlotte commit. Guarded by Owen Vance, the D1 Rutgers commit.
You'd say that about a lot of the matchups in this meeting.
It's pretty, pretty exciting to see guys playing here who have such bright lacrosse careers ahead in their futures.
Davis Reardon beats 2, and that one hits the side of the net. All the Pacers fans up in front of us, and then getting knocked down is Thatcher Killian. Gets right back up, steps over a player. A little bit like Allen Iverson back in the 2000 NBA Finals. Not quite as dramatic, and still battling for the ball. Killian has it knocked wide, and we finally get a whistle. And it's going to go in favor of Lakeridge.
What a scramble on the ground ball.
Well, it just shows how much these guys wanted as Thatcher Killian will sprint off. It looks like there's a little bit of a hobble, but he lost the ball, picked it back up, fought. I mean, there was one Jesuit player against 2 Lakeridge players, and he was winning that battle for the most part. Is now turning it over, and Jesuit gets it right back. Ryan Jack showing off the speed, cuts back in, still with it. He'll float it towards the back post, and they will keep the ball with Jesuit there.
I think that pass was deflected. Thus, it's the reason it's going off of its trajectory. Ryan Jack, so exciting to watch in the middle of the field, able to play offense and defense, and so quick, getting from one end to the other, creating opportunities.
Final 70 seconds the first quarter. It's number 2 Lakeridge leading number 1 Jesuit 3-2 after scoring 3 goals in a row, sandwiched between the 2 Jesuit goals. Elliot Heyer has imagined that Jesuit's probably going to play this pretty slowly over the final minute, but that pass out of the reach of Heyer. Davis Dolp trying to go cross field, and Lakeridge will get it back with 49 ticks on the clock.
A big gamble there from Lakeridge, trying to sub their O-Midi over the midline, created that opportunity, but the Jesuit pass goes awry and gives Lakeridge one more opportunity before we get to the end of the quarter.
Working with it is Ryan Wallace, brings it up across, and 35 seconds to go. Plenty of time for the Pacers to set something up for this likely final possession of the first quarter. Backing all the way up towards midfield is Gavin Hidalgo, one of the 2 Hidalgo brothers on this Lakeridge team. Down to 18 seconds left. Pass to the backside, met by a defender, and they'll go right back to Kellen Aird with 10. Aird looking to beat his defender. Shot goes right into the pocket there of Spreen. Now Heyer will fire it downfield, wide of the cage, and that will do it. 3-2 Lakeridge after 12 minutes. Dave, we expected a high-energy physical contest, and thus far I think that's what we've gotten here. Neither team has really been able to create much separation, but Lakeridge, we wondered, well, I think I wondered, would they be able to score enough? And those 2 man-down goals, huge for this team after they almost fell behind 2-0.
When Lakeridge is playing 6-on-6, they're shooting the ball, going straight at Trey Spreen. His positioning is so good. He's making the shots look easy to stop. In transition, getting him moving side to side, they're receiving a lot better looks at the cage and a lot more scoring opportunities. On the other side, Jesuit just kind of needs to calm down a little bit, move the ball the way we usually see them move the ball. I think that business is going to pick up for them in the near future as well.
Yeah, and you look at Mike Marcotte's side, Adam Jack, John Finnegan, Riley Hoffman, and Mark Torrey, his assistants. We were talking before the game, and you mentioned the fact that this is just a business trip for Jesuit. Now, a business trip with a chance to make history, but just the way they approach things, okay, they started slow, maybe they weren't themselves. This is a team that's probably going to be able to settle in no matter what is kind of going against them.
When these teams were coming into the stadium, Jesuit, nobody talking, all business, eyes straight ahead, very, very locked in. Lakeridge had a ton of their fans making a tunnel for them, cheering. It was super loud, super fun, totally different vibes from both teams. To some degree, that defines their identities. Lakeridge, the team of the town of Lake Oswego that has produced so many great lacrosse players, including many who are wearing the Jesuit uniform today. Jesuit, the private school powerhouse.
And both of these teams with one goal in mind, winning the 2025 title For Lakeridge, it would be a chance to avenge last year's loss and the 2022 loss. For Jesuit, chance to do something that no one else has done, win 4 consecutive titles. As face-off is battled for, Jesuit player goes down, and it's finally won by Lakeridge. Picking that one up was Tristan Martin. And able to hold on. Tristan Martin still with it, thinking about a shot, and he scores. Tristan Martin, the long pole with the goal, the University of Oregon commit, and it's Lakeridge making it 4-2 here, just 18 seconds into the second quarter.
Lakeridge with another unsettled goal, a big boy play afterwards. Ryan Jack looking at the coaches, asking them to check the Lakeridge defender's stick. Thinks that, it had a little help staying in there. Just looked like a fantastic play. Before the game, we saw Jesuit practicing their offense. It looked very crisp. Lakeridge was practicing ground balls, and they are pursuing these ground balls with ferocity.
Another violation against Lakeridge, and it will be collected by Thatcher Killian, and that's big because the last thing you want to do is have one of these teams, or for either team, have a chance to score, win a face-off, and then score again and really put together a little bit of run. Now it's Jesuit with their first possession of the second quarter, trailing by 2. That's tied for the largest deficit of the game for either side. And here is a shot from in tight, and it's Davis Dolp, his first of the day, and just like that, it's 4-3, 2 goals, one for either side in the first 46 seconds of the second.
Just a straight left-handed split dodge down the alley from Davis Dolp. What a rip. Top corner, high and away, beats goalie Nolan Darcy, and just like that, Jesuit silences the Lakeridge crowd and bounces right back into this game.
4 from Dolp on Wednesday, adds his first of the day. It'll be Thomas Bowie versus, I think, Colby Owen, who had himself a nice game. It's tough when you're playing behind Cash Groves, but this Lakeridge team is deep in the face-off X, and good little battle, and it is Owen who we thought won it, and nope, the whistle will go against the Pacers, and a chance for Jesuit to potentially tie this game up here early in the second.
Illegal procedure call there. You saw the ball stay in the back of his stick. Clear face-off violation, easy call for the official.
And make it 4-4, the shot from Brady Bain, his second of the day, and it is tied at 4 with 10:52 to go in this second quarter, and this pace would certainly seem to favor Jesuit, as Lakeridge is not used to giving up this many goals, and can they score with Jesuit in a track meet?
Bain wins the middle of the field there off of a great change of direction. Buries the ball from the prime shooting area. 4-4. Next couple of goals could be really important here.
So back-to-back face-off violations against Lakeridge. Cash Groves back in there working against Bowie. And this one is collected on the bounce by Charlie Colney. Coyne will get across and settle for Lakeridge. Scored just 16 seconds into the quarter, but have not touched it since. Sean McCarty. Slow it down and settle in. It's a warm one here at Ida B. Wells High School. Temperatures late in the afternoon between 85 and 87 degrees. Beckett Godfrey, who has one of the goals. To the far side for Kellen Aird. Checking in with Davis Reardon. Gets the pick. Reardon will stay with his defender. Looking to get the turn, and a pass to the back door, and it's a beautiful, unselfish goal. Jason Wilbur from Davis Reardon. I thought that Reardon had a chance to shoot. Instead, the extra pass, and that was pretty from this Lakeridge offense.
With this dynamic duo, I'm not sure which one is Batman and which one is Robin, but when one of them is dodging, the other is moving with purpose, off ball, finding space in the middle of the field. What a great connection, and a nice goal in settled 6-on-6 to quiet Jesuit's momentum.
Yeah, Lakeridge has not scored too many of those to this point. But they do lead 5-4 after going down 1-0 and almost 2-0 on a goal that we initially thought went in. It's been Lakeridge who has led or been tied ever since, and they win another face-off, this time with Beckett Godfrey scooping it up. Godfrey in transition takes the long shot, but it's hard to beat Trey Spreen when he's able to see it the whole way. We've got a whistle, and we'll wait on the call, and it's...
I think Trey Spreen touched that ball with his hand, and the ball's going to go back to Lakeridge.
That is a surprising mistake from a senior, second-team All-State player who's just a tremendous asset to Jesuit, but rare mistake will give Lakeridge an extra possession.
On that last quick possession there, you see another one of the looks from Lakeridge that Spreen has done a great job of stopping. When someone is coming right at him, his positioning in the goal is so solid, he barely needs to move to stop the balls. When he's moving side to side, it's much easier for the shooters to attack him.
Gavin Hidalgo's pass just a bit high for Charlie Coyne, and Jesuit is able to take advantage. Ryan Jack with it. Jack for Bechtold, and Bechtold thought about giving it right back, and now will pull it out as Jesuit wants to set up their 6-on-6 offense. Jesuit's really been rolling for the most part with this top line. Killian, Bechtold, Bain, Jack. And we haven't seen or talked much about George Malkiel, who had a big game, the freshman, on Wednesday. And Malkiel behind the net here will restart. 8:35 to go before halftime. 5-4 favor of Lakeridge, the 2 seed. Trying to pull off what would just be the third statistical upset in terms of seeds. But Lakeridge, the only team this year to beat Jesuit in the state of Oregon. Lakeridge's only loss came out of state, so they've yet to lose in Oregon. That's a big save in tight and a crease violation. I think it was Killian. No, it was Jesuit's Davis Dolp, whose initial shot was stopped, and then he was in the crease when it knocked off him and it.
If Jesuit continues to have ball movement like they had on that last possession, their offense is going to catch fire.
Nolan Darcy had the ball heading towards net. We're going to get a whistle, and Lakeridge wants to call the timeout. I think you trust your goalie, but maybe you wanted a slightly different look, and Kurt Shannon and his group will slow it down. So you're up 5-4, 7:52 to go in this second quarter. What are you using that timeout for in this situation?
I think right now the momentum is going back and forth. Like these teams are trading punches. Everybody's trying to land a solid one. If Lakeridge can come back with another strong possession, another 6-on-6 goal, the way that they just did the last time they had the ball, eat another 90 seconds of clock while they're doing it, it's really going to push momentum for them there. At the same time, if Darcy comes away with a goal in transition or something crazy happens, there's a lot of juice, but then we're still playing this high-speed game. It's 90 degrees on the field. Jesuit has 2 more lines of great players that haven't touched the field yet. They're super deep. You don't necessarily want to get into a track meet with them. You want to control the game.
Well, and that's such a good point. Lakeridge doesn't play a lot of track meets. They pride themselves on their defense, or the strength of this year's team is their defense. Slowing down this pace, settling in longer possessions, that's what we're used to seeing from Lakeridge. It hasn't been the case today, and it hasn't hurt them to this point. But we saw on Wednesday that they needed 24 minutes to really kick into gear. You don't want to do the opposite, and kind of like Wesleyan, where they just seemed to fade a little bit in that second half against Lakeridge. 5-4, 7:52 to go. We will restart with Kellen Aird. Scored the game-winning goal in overtime at the Fritz Hayes Classic against this Jesuit side. That was a long time ago, though, April the 12th. And we'll see which team can win the one that matters. Big hit, but Lakeridge retains possession. Working with it is Reardon, who set up Wilbur for the last tally to give his team the lead. Reardon through the double team, loses the ball, and Trey Spreen will come up with it. Not the look that you were probably hoping for if you were Lakeridge.
Little ill-advised to be attacking that double in that way. Probably wanted to roll pressure, find the open man, move it quick.
George Malkiel across for Ryan Jack. And both teams will get their units out there as Elliott Higher control, second team All-Metro League. Higher still with it here. Faked going back behind that. Instead, he'll hand it off to Jack. Ryan Jack 1v1 for Killian. Killian hard to miss with that big body, but he has it knocked away by the long pole. Tristan Martin, who has a goal in this one. And Jesuit able to get it right back with Brady Bain picking up the ground ball. Possession in this game is going to be so crucial. Deuce Bechtold shot goes just wide, and Malkiel is there to keep possession in favor of the Crusaders. Not only are the stands full in front of us, and there's a fair amount of spectators on the far side in the shade, but there's a lot of people on the little hill there here at Ida B. Wells, as this is certainly the fullest that we've seen this stadium this weekend. George Malkiel working on his defender. Back up top for Higher. Elliott Higher looking to turn. Thought about a pass. Instead, he'll take the safer pass for Bain.
There are a lot of lower level D1 lacrosse programs that wish they had this many people coming to their games or being as invested in them as the fans are here.
Absolutely. Higher, flipping it across for Jack. Jack 1v1 with Charlie Coyne, loses it, and able to get it right back, and unable to beat Nolan Darcy. That was a weird one where Lakeridge, it looked like, would be able to go the other way, and as they do, it's Darcy pumping up the crowd after his save. 5.5 to go in this second quarter. Lakeridge leading at 5-4, and unable to connect on that pass as Wilbur lost it behind him. Now it's Spreen initiating the offense as he'll find Gavin McGarry, the short stick D midfielder, first team All-State. McGarry gets it right back over for Bain, and now McGarry will head back to the bench as Jesuit will send out some of those talented attackers. 4:59 to go, and it seems like we're just going to slow it down for a little bit.
Feels like Jesuit's getting more time on offense now, getting more comfortable on offense, moving the ball around as well.
And I think they're going to use their first time out of the half. 5-4, 4:46 to go in quarter number 2. And it just feels like it's a little bit of a cagey matchup after a complete track meet for most of the first quarter. Both of these teams starting to get back to their bread and butter. What do you think Mike Marcotte's group saw there that they wanted to talk over or just set up as they try to tie this game up late in the second?
I think that what you'll expect them to do is just look to attack the matchups and dodge on Lakeridge's short sticks, and then look to move the ball quickly to the backside. Once they draw a slide, if they get the ball spinning, their ball movement is so clean that they can usually generate good shots off of that. Whereas if they're going one-on-one against Lakeridge's top defenders, it's a much better situation for Lakeridge's defense to be able to slide to and to support.
Now, on Wednesday, we saw a couple guys have some huge games, including George Malkiel. He hasn't been involved in this game nearly as much. Is that part of the defensive matchup? Is that part of kind of the game plan here? Maybe we're going to try to exploit a different matchup. Seen a lot of Bain, a lot of Bechtold, some of Killian and Jack, but some different offensive players kind of leading the attack today than we saw against OES on Wednesday.
I think that part of what you might be seeing is George Malkiel, really the only freshman in the mix of the players that you're talking about, and maybe with a little less experience in this game situation, and being guarded by really dominant poles, just being a little bit less of the instigator of the offense.
No, that makes sense. You look at most of these guys for Jesuit, seniors and juniors who are now playing in their third or fourth state championship game. Malkiel's older brothers have played in quite a few. He's been here, I'm sure, for some of these state championship games, but his first time with a chance to suit up for the Crusaders as they go for a four-peat. Working with it here is Thatcher Killian, one of those seniors on the offensive end for Higher. Elliott spins, turns right back for Killian through a double team and able to hold on to the ball there against the double team. Behind the net, Malkiel will feed it over here for Bechtold. Deuce spinning against the opposing number 2, Charlie Nauheim, and floats it up top for Higher. Higher drops it and picks it back up, dishing it off for Brady Bain. 4 minutes to go before halftime. Jesuit has not led since it was 1-0, and they trail at 5-4 here late in the second quarter.
Nice patient possession for Jesuit. These long possessions wear down defenses too, super important. Every time you make a defense slide and recover in the second quarter, they're just going to be a little bit more tired in the fourth quarter when they need to make a play.
Higher shot goes just wide. It'll stay with the Crusaders. That's a great point, especially with the depth of Jesuit, and on a day where temperatures are 85, 87, I think it's pretty fair to say this is the warmest game that either of these teams have played thus far this spring. George Malkiel working against the long pole there. Bryce Hidalgo and able to handle the pressure. As they swing it back across. Very patient here. Ryan Jack's shot, and that will bounce all the way through. 3:23 to go. This has been close to a 2-minute possession.
And while Jesuit has generated a lot of shots in this possession, they have not hit the cage. So on college level, at the college level, the Lakeridge defense has done their job there getting the stop. Just as we say that, they get the ball on cage, and a great save by Nolan Darcy.
A long rebound that almost ends up in the Lakeridge bench. Sticks with Davis Dolp here, looking for a shot, and he fires it wide. There's a couple of Jesuit photographers over by the sideline who are having to run out of the way after all of these missed shots come over to this near side. And now the Lakeridge fans below us trying to cheer on their defense to force a stop. It has officially been a 2-minute possession for the number 1 seed, looking to find this game-tying goal. 5-4 late in the second quarter. And there's another save from Darcy denying Davis Dolp. Lakeridge in transition. Long pass and a really nice catch that will also draw a flag as Jason Wilbur had to go up the ladder to make that one-handed catch.
Look for Lakeridge to hold it for a minute here.
Yeah, 2:17 to go, no shot clock, but also just the amount of time their defense had to work. I'd like to give them a little bit of a breather. All the way up top for Kellen Aird, and now we'll get the final members of this offense out there. 2 minutes to go. It was 3-2 in favor of Lakeridge after 1. They lead at 5-4 here in the second quarter. Charlie Coyne able to pick up that errant pass. And now Coyne able to beat his defender, takes the shot, but another save from Trey Spreen. And either way, it stays with Lakeridge after that penalty flag. Minute 44 left, and we'll see Lakeridge go a man up for the second time today. Lakeridge is 1 for 1 on the man up. Jesuit is 0 for 1 and gave up 2 man-down goals. That's a big reason why Lakeridge leads to this point.
Right there on that last play, too, we see another example of a Lakeridge player running straight at Trey Spreen while they're shooting the ball, and he just measures it and shuts it down.
Yeah, it's funny. Nolan Darson's the All-American, but Trey Spreen is also so impressive. I think you match up these two goalies, and anytime you score a goal, you should probably save the ball. It's not that easy to do. Minute 30 to go. And Lakeridge is going to really probe this Jesuit defense. As that pass is knocked down by the long pole, and it's going to come out towards midfield, and getting there just in time is Davis Reardon. Minute 13 to go as the penalty is over, but they're able to score nonetheless. It's Enzo Federizi, his second of the day, and just like that, it's a 2-goal lead for the third time for Lakeridge.
Again, Lakeridge moves the ball from one side of the field to the other, gets the Jesuit goalie stepping side to side, and finishes underneath. Great patience from the Lakeridge offense and way to take advantage of that opportunity when it presents itself.
Tristan Martin right below us, getting ready for the face-off, but really trying to pump up the crowd. Very important face-off here. Minute and 7 to go. This could be a final possession, or you could be picking up this ball and trying to take it right to goal. Cash Groves is going to win the face-off draw against Thomas Bowie. And Groves is probably going to settle this down as he wasn't able to go directly towards net. Groves will head back to the sideline, and Lakeridge will look for their first 3-goal lead of the game, as this is Federizi who just scored. Enzo has now scored 3 goals this year against Jesuit. 1 in the first game, 2 more today. He's the lead scorer for Lakeridge to this point. All the way up top, it's Kellen Aird with under 30 to go. How quickly are you looking to go here so that if you do have a rebound or you don't score, that you get a second look?
I think they're going to go about 15 seconds.
With 17 here. It's Reardon all the way to net. Reardon pump fakes, loses the ball, and it's loose on the backside and picked up by Lakeridge with 8. Chance for the long pole, and putting it through the 5-hole is Sean McCarty, the D2 Concordia Irvine commit. And just like that, it is 7-4, the largest lead of the game for either side, as Lakeridge scores back-to-back goals in the final minute of this second quarter.
We're seeing a lot of different players involved in the scoring for Lakeridge thus far in this game. As Jesuit covers the primary threats on the attack, other guys are stepping up and making plays to put their team in a great position as we go into halftime.
7 goals, 6 different goal scorers. Cash Groves wins the faceoff, will fling it over with 1, and it's saved by Trey Spreen. Well, Dave, there's still a lot of lacrosse left to be played, but Lakeridge has had a much better first half than we saw on Wednesday. They scored 1 goal in 24 minutes. Today, 7 against a very good Jesuit team. What has been working first for Lakeridge that you've liked on the offensive side of the ball?
The place where they are really creating great opportunities is when they're getting the ball going side to side. Getting the goalie stepping across the crease, then having to be reset to attack shots. When the shots are coming right at him and he's able to be set and step to the ball, he's smothering those shots in a big way. The other thing that I think is huge is you really see how much passion Lakeridge is playing with from all of their players and all of their fans. They're pumping their chests when they're making plays. The bench is pumped up. The guys are high-fiving each other. Again, the tone so different from Jesuit, who is all business all the time. They seem, if you look at the Jesuit huddle right now, they're all on one knee. Their eyes are all on Coach Marcotte. They are very focused on the task at hand. Lakeridge, a little slower to settle into their halftime talk, feeling good about where they've gotten so far, but they still have a long way to go to achieve their goal.
Exactly. Jesuit, there's no need to panic. They're down 7-4. It's 3 goals. It's not a mountain, more of a hill, but this team isn't used to being trailing very frequently. They've played some top competition from Washington, but they've played one overtime game that they won against the Washington team. They've played one overtime game against Lakeridge that they lost 5-4. What's the message from Coach Marcotte, and how much of it is about X's and O's right now, and how much of it is about kind of keeping your head and recognizing that we've got the talent, we've got the depth, we just need to kind of utilize those strengths that we might have over this Lakeridge side?
I think that the message is really about heart and guts and hard work. I think the face-off battle has been much more even than we have thought that it was going to be. We've seen Jesuit's face-off crew create a lot more 50-50 ground balls as opposed to letting Cash Groves dominate the draws. They've got to come up with more of those balls. 3 goals right now is not a big problem to overcome, but if the first run in the second half is from Lakeridge and 3 becomes 6, it's a very, very different hill to climb. Likewise, if Jesuit comes out with the next run, we could be back at a brand new ball game in a heartbeat.
Dave Sanford, Seth Orensky, we're going to take a break. 12:30 to go before the start of half number 2. We'll be back with about a minute on the clock here on Oregon Sports Beat as number 2 Lakeridge leads number 1 Jesuit 7-4 at halftime.
attention, please, as we announce the second team All-State Oregon High School Lacrosse Association. Your second team All-State attack from Jesuit senior Brady Bain. From Summit High School in Bend, senior Ari Viano. Junior from West Lynn, Connor Peters. At midfield, senior from West Lynn, Brody Jones. Junior from West Salem, McNary, Micah Fensky. Junior from Jesuit, Davis Gulp. Junior from Summit, Braden Robbins. At faceoff, junior from Wilsonville, Owen Feinblatt. Senior from Jesuit, Thomas Bui. Your short stick defensive midi, sophomore from OES, Cameron Fassel. And senior from West Salem McNary, Tanner Gehring. Your long stick midi, senior from OES, Aaron Sales. And senior from Lakeridge, Tristan Martin. Your all-state second team on defense, senior from Lakeridge, Charlie Malai. Senior from Jesuit, Will Gilster. Also on defense, junior from South Eugene, Sam Notsky. And senior from Summit, Henry Cottrell. Your second team All-State goalie, senior from Jesuit, Trace Spleen. And now for your first team All-State, at attack, senior Jesuit, Deuce Bechtel. Senior from Lakeridge, Davis Reardon. Senior from Lincoln, Benjamin Longu. At midfield, your first team All-State, senior from Jesuit, Ryan Jack. Senior from Lincoln, Camden Schnebley. Senior from Lakeridge, Kellen Aird. And sophomore from Sunset, Archie Gold. Your first team All-State face-off, junior from OES, Jack Andres. Senior from Lakeridge, Cash Groves. Your first team All-State short stick defensive midi, senior from Jesuit, Gavin McGarry. And sophomore from Lakeridge, Colby Owen. Your long stick midis, first team All-State, junior from Sunset, Marcus Hom. And junior from West Lynn, Vigo Anderson. On defense, senior from Lakeridge, Kelly Lamb. And junior from Jesuit, Owen Vance. Another senior from Lakeridge, Ryan Wallace. Senior from OES, Alice Halpin. At goalie, you have senior from Lakeridge, Nolan Darcy. And junior from Sunset, Keegan Putney. Also, we'd like to congratulate our U.S. Lacrosse All-Americans. Senior from Lakeridge, defense, Kelly Lamb. Senior from Jesuit, attack, Deuce Bechtel. Junior from OES, Jack Andres. Junior from Sunset, Marcus Hom. Senior from Lakeridge, Nolan Darcy. Senior from Lakeridge, Ryan Wallace. Senior from Jesuit, Ryan Jack. We'd also like to congratulate our U.S. Lacrosse Academic All-Americans. From Central Catholic High School, senior Ty Newberry. From Westview High School, senior Will Benyon. From Grant High School, senior Vincent Trueworthy. From Lincoln High School, senior Camden Schnebly. Also from Lincoln High School, senior Ryder Rice. From West Lynn, senior Cannon Fuller. From West Albany, senior Owen Yuda. The 2025 Coaches of the Year. Your Coach of the Year from Forest Grove, Scott Tierney. And your Assistant Coach of the Year from Lakeridge, Pete Lamb. And now, for your 2025 Oregon High School Lacrosse Association Player of the Year, from Lakeridge, Kelly Lamb.
Less than a minute to go before the start of half number 2. It's Lakeridge, the 2 seed, leading Jesuit, the 1 seed, 7-4. 2 late goals, and they scored the final 3 of the half, their second 3-0 run. Seth Orensky joined by Dave Sanford. And Dave, it feels like these first 2 to 3 minutes of the second half could be really important if you're Jesuit to see, A, if they can kind of settle back in, but also trying to avoid letting Lakeridge really go on an extended run of 4 or 5 goals.
Jesuit just needs to keep pace right now. If they trade goal for goal in the third quarter, they're going to be fine going into the fourth. If Lakeridge's lead gets a lot bigger, the path will get a lot harder for them.
Good little battle, but Cashgrove's able to beat Thomas Bowie. And it is Lakeridge who scored the final 3 goals and held Jesuit without a goal for the final 10 minutes of that half. In possession to start quarter number 3. They scored really early to start the second quarter, just 16 seconds in to stretch their lead from 3-2 to 4-2. And that shot floats very far wide after a high hit to the helmet there of Enzo Federici. It'll stay with the team in blue, working from right to left in this second half. Jesuit in the home whites, the number 1 seed, looking to become the first team ever to win 4 consecutive titles. Passing tight angle. That shot went off probably the leg of a defender there. And just as the ball is about to get out of bounds, heavy hit on Owen Vance, but it'll stick with Vance and the Crusaders. And Jesuit able to get a stop to start this second half.
Lakeridge gets the ball inside on their first possession, but not the clean looks that they've been having throughout the second quarter. Little trouble on the clear here for Jesuit, though.
William Gilster and George Malkiel unable to connect originally. Malkiel gets hit up high, tries to scoop it over to a teammate, and it's collected by Ryan Wallace, one of the 3 All-Americans on this Jesuit team. Rather, Lakeridge team, and 2 on Jesuit. 5 of the 7 spots in the state of
Lakeridge looked like they were just bullying Jesuit on that last series, both on the zone entry and then on the ground ball in the clear. Looking like the bigger, more athletic team.
Lakeridge controls with Sean McCarty, and that's where this team has excelled this year. They are big, they are strong, and they are defensively talented. It doesn't hurt to have a first-team All-State goalie and a first-team All-State face-off guy, 2 of the most important positions, but they're just a lack of focus as the Lakeridge player drops it, and then on the pass back towards the cage, a great job by Federici to step in and knock it down. So it looked like Jesuit had forced a second consecutive failed possession, and there's a beautiful kick save by Spreen. It's going to come all the way out towards the bench. Big hit on Jack, and that's too big of a hit on Jack, and it will go back to Jesuit on the foul.
Great save by Spreen, attacking that shot right there. And a great job by Lakeridge, attackman riding the ball back, creating an extra offensive opportunity.
McGarry for Malkiel had to go up like a wide receiver there to catch that pass up high before it almost went out of bounds. And now Jesuit will look to settle in here. Their first actual possession, because they were never really able to set up on their first look of the quarter. Almost 3 minutes gone by, still scoreless in the third. As Lakeridge continues to hold a 7-4 lead. Big whack at Elliot Heyer. He'll hold on to the ball. To the far side for Deuce Bechtold. Gets the screen from Heyer, and he'll bounce it out wide. A little bit too far wide for Thatcher Killian, and the ball goes back to Lakeridge. And 2 possessions, no shots for Jesuit. Not what we're used to seeing.
Empty possessions that end with the ball going out about on the sidelines. Definitely not the norm for them. Lakeridge's defense is dialing up the pressure.
Alex Sly working against Malkiel, able to bounce right off of him. Now he's got a second Jesuit player in front of him, and he says, Deuce Bechtold, get out of my way. It's still Sly with it. His pass is too high, though, and maybe that was the case of just being a little bit too eager after he showed the physicality on a pair of Jesuit players.
A little bit too much adrenaline going there.
So another empty possession. I've seen one big save from Spreen, but outside of that, it's just been a couple of turnovers for either side here in the early going. As Thatcher Killian is met by a player immediately, but able to get around Tristan Martin, who has one of the goals thus far for Lakeridge. 7 goals from 6 different players. On the opposite side, 4 goals from 3 players for Jesuit. 2 goals from Brady Bain and 2 goals from Enzo Federici are currently tied as our lead scorers in this one. And we've got a foul coming up against Lakeridge as Davis Dolp was able to draw the foul and the contact. What can Jesuit do with it? 0 for 2 thus far on the man advantage. That pass just a little bit low, and trying to run it down will be Brady Bain. Nice look cutting to the net, I think, for Killian. Might have been Malkiel, as Jesuit can get a little bit greedy here, knowing they're going to man up, and they will now go a man up as Bain's shot is stopped by Nolan Darcy. Feels like it's an important opportunity for this man up group that's 0 for 2 thus far, and then also gave up those 2 man down goals on their first opportunity. They have not looked as crisp as we're used to seeing them.
In the semifinals, Lakeridge still pressed out on defense when they were in the man-down situations. With the struggles Jesuit has had this quarter in terms of their passing, if I'm a pacer, I'm kind of thinking maybe it's time to press out and try and take the ball away here.
We're almost 5.5 minutes into this third quarter. Nobody has scored to this point. And outside of one really nice kick save from Trey Spreen, haven't really seen that many good looks, especially on target. Nolan Darcy did just make a save, but I don't think it challenged the All-American or the first-team All-State and All-American too much. Pass to the far side, and it's Dolp with the bounce shot. And Davis Dolp has his second of the day. First man-up goal for Jesuit, and they are able to score just 17 seconds into the man-up opportunity.
Pretty simple man-up look there for Jesuit. Little bit of a righty wheel. Dolp steps up, gets his stick towards the middle of the field, and buries a bouncer on Nolan Darcy, making this a 2-goal game with 7:20 to go in the third quarter.
That was the first goal for Jesuit in, looking at my notes, I believe, almost 16 minutes. Feels like a long drought for this offense that averages well over 15 goals per game. Big time face off, and again, it's 2 for 2 for Cash Groves to start this third quarter. Now can Lakeridge get their offense going? That pass is low, but coming back to grab it is Beckett Godfrey, who's another one of the goal scorers for the team in Carolina Blue, as they will work with it here with Jason Wilbur. Wilbur all the way across. And Lakeridge will look to settle into their 6v6 offense. Kellen Aird around the wheel, and they'll get it behind the net here for Federizi. Enzo picking, probing, and floating it back out for Aird. 6.5 to go in quarter number 3 as the long pole will head off. And the defender will follow, and now a little bit of a space open, and taking the bounce shot and scoring is Sean McCarty. Really nice job of beating the defender, and McCarty's got a pair of goals.
Jesuits a little late in the sub game right there, and McCarty coming over the midfield line, buries it right away. Jesuit has been late in the sub game a few times through this game. They've continued to match feet at the midfield line regardless. In other situations, they got away with it. Not that time.
Goal separated by 1 minute and 3 seconds, and that's a great way to respond by Lakeridge. McCarty just running in ahead from the midfield line as we've got a violation on Jesuit. First time that we've seen Itzhak Sanchez in the face-off this week, I believe, and he's couldn't believe it, but save from Spreen, and now Thatcher Killian, I know he's one of your favorite players, bounces off 3, and just taking it himself across midfield on the clear.
Colby Owen made a little bit of a tactical error there. Like he had a great opportunity because the Jesuit face-off guy ran off the field immediately, giving him a break, but running down the field, shooting high to high on Spreen, probably not the best thing to do in a situation where you're trying to control the momentum of the quarter.
This is Ryan Jack with it. Yeah, it feels like right now, and really we haven't had any change. It's still a 3-goal game. It feels like Lakeridge, as much as they want to capitalize on the momentum, those longer possessions will probably help out their defense in the fourth quarter. And I'm sure at some point we will see Jesuit with their offensive might get some longer possessions and some more attack time as it's knocked away from Brady Bain and collected by the player of the year, Kelly Lamb.
What a great ground ball there from Kelly Lamb, coast to coast, just wide.
That was a really good look from a long pole. He missed that by inches, going far post, well, near post to far post, and easily been 9-5. No, neither team is led by more than 3. Lakeridge Jesuit has not led by more than 1 goal. They scored first and almost made it 2-0, and ever since then, Lakeridge has either led or been tied. So they pass the ball around here. Rayard in for Wilbur. He's so elusive in tight. Wilbur trying to get a goal, and that one skipped off of screen, I think, and what a great play by Elliott Heyer. Ducking in and getting to the end line first to get the ball back for his team.
Huge anticipation play for Heyer right there. Putting a quick early stop on that Lakeridge possession.
McGarry for Malkiel and a successful clear for the Crusaders. 4:14 to go. Stayed at 8-5 for the last 2+ minutes. And what has been a tense contest, and right now I think both teams' supporters kind of on pins and needles. Up top, it's Thatcher Killian working against the long stick of Bryce Hidalgo. All the way behind the cage, and see what Killian elects to do here. Trying to bum rush his way towards net and scores. Thatcher Killian, his first of the day, and it's 8-6 with 3:45 to go in the third.
Hidalgo goes over the head for a takeaway check. He doesn't get it. The result is a goal for Jesuit. The game gets a little bit closer. Both fans on their feet, both from both sides right now. Huge face-off coming up with 3:45 left in the third period.
Bowie for Jesuit. Cashgrove's back in there for Lakeridge. I believe that Lakeridge has won every face-off here in the third quarter after it was pretty tight in the first two. And another violation against Jesuit, this time on Bowie. And Lakeridge continues to have that big advantage here in the second half. 3:38 to go. Jesuit has outscored Lakeridge 2-1 here in the third quarter to cut the deficit to 2. Federizi behind the net, working against the stick of Quentin Stanley. Federizi bounced around, shoots it behind the net, and this time they do have the player closest to it in Charlie Coyne. .315 left is now Coyne. Thought about getting towards the front of the cage, and we'll bounce it out. It feels like Lakeridge has gone away from some of that excellent passing that we saw in the second quarter. A little bit more 1v1 here in the third.
Jesuit has 3 short sticks on the field right now, and Lakeridge is looking to attack them.
Reardon on McGarry, and he pushes it just wide on what would have been a beautiful goal. That was the matchup that you were talking about, though. McGarry, the short stick, and Reardon also has a size advantage. This is Federizi, who gets laid out as he takes the shot, and it'll stick with Lakeridge. 2:34 to go. It's been a minute-plus possession here for Lakeridge, looking to get that 3-goal lead back. Spinning, turning, whirling is Wilbur. Out for McCarty, scored the lone goal of this third quarter for Lakeridge. They'll pull it out with Charlie Coyne working in front of his own bench. Henry Van Pelt, the first player in front of him. Shot from distance, and it's high and wide from Kellen Aird. 2:07 to go in the third quarter, an 8-6 lead for the second seed Lakeridge. Looking for their first OHSLA title since 2013. Jesuit looking for their 4th in a row, would be the first team ever to win 4 consecutive state titles. Aird gets around the first defender. Aird still with it, bounces back behind the net, gets it back. And he fires it out top, and the left-handed shot coming from Charlie Coyne goes wide.
Great offensive series here from Lakeridge. That shot also just missing the cage.
Aird beats his defender and scores. A 2+ minute possession, and Kellen Aird the Marquette commit, with his first goal of the contest. And Dave, what's more important there if you're Lakeridge? The goal to push it back to 3, or taking 2+ minutes and really kind of settling back in offensively?
I think it's a combination of both. They're making Jesuits' defense work. Getting into the fourth period with a goal differential like this, Jesuits' defense is going to have to push out more and try to take the ball away more actively. This is going to be harder for them the more tired they're made by the minutes they need to play on D right now.
Off the faceoff, it comes all the way back to Nolan Darcy, who's going to have to go up against the sandwich of Jesuit Crusaders and somehow keeps the ball, but it's not out of danger yet. He needs to find someone. The entire Lakeridge bench is up and bouncing around. Darcy still with it. I would have thought that would have been a great time to use a timeout, but Kurt Shannon and his team trusts in their goalie, and now Darcy will head back. A minute to go. This is the third 3-goal lead for Lakeridge, and they have 9 goals from 7 different goal scorers. Under a minute to go. Do you want this to be the final possession if you're Lakeridge here in the quarter?
Yes, for sure.
Federizi will take it. Enzo with the quick look. It's saved, and it'll be pushed back for Spreen. Enzo Federizi is a terrific player, but sometimes he seems quick to look for his shot. That's just from my perspective.
Right there, that early in offense, based on how long these possessions are, might not be a clean enough shot to take. At the same time, if you're not taking chances, you're not having success. It's definitely part of the game where it's easy to make that call from the press box. He feels like he's got a good look. He's going to take it. Shooter's going to shoot.
9 seconds to go. Jesuit trying to get it back within 2. Bechtold shot probably deflected there by Darcy. 2 Lakeridge players rushing towards it. 3 seconds to go in the quarter, and that should do it as they will fling it downfield after 3. We said there was no reason to panic if you were Jesuit trailing by 3 after 3. What's the panic level right now for the Crusaders heading to the fourth quarter?
3 goals in 1 quarter is definitely not a problem for either of these teams. What they need to do is make sure that they are going to have adequate time of possession. So defensively, they're not going to be able to allow Lakeridge to have these long possessions. They're going to need to press out more. They're going to need to force Lakeridge to go to the cage, trust their goalie Spreen to make some stops, try to get up and out quickly in transition, and attack at the other end. The slow-paced game's not really working for them right now. They're going to have to use their speed and their skill and their teamwork to outwork Lakeridge right now.
9-6 after 3. We're going to take an audio break and be back with the fourth quarter of the state championship game here on Oregon Sports Beat as Lakeridge leads Jesuit after 36 minutes. Folks, you might not even need Dave Sanford and myself to call this fourth quarter. You might just be able to listen to the crowd. It's electric here at Ida B. Wells High School. 9-6 in favor of the 2-seed Lakeridge Pacers. Good battle here between Cash Groves and Thomas Bowie. We've got a foul, and it will go against – oh, wow, I thought that was going against Lakeridge, but another face-off win, another violation against Jesuit. What did you see on that last play?
Hard for me to tell what the referee called there, but a lot of the times when it looks like the hold's going to go one way and it goes the other way, it's because the player who's getting called for the penalty is coming down on top of the other player's stick. If one team wins the clamp, the other guy his move has to be to go under. He can't go over that guy's stick when it's clamped on the ball.
The third or fourth time that Jesuit has been whistled for an infraction on the faceoffs here in the second half. Lakeridge has won every faceoff to start the second half. They lead at 9-6, 11:20 to go. They have led by as many as three times here in the second half. Jesuit has not led since it was 1-0. Pass comes all the way through the middle, but they've got two players back there, and it will stay with the team in blue. Thinking about the shot and having his pass deflected, so it will stay with Lakeridge there, was Sean McCarty.
Referee on the far side is going to give that ball back to Jesuit.
Interesting. It looked like Davis Reardon had a chance to make the catch, unable to do so, but it clearly was deflected from our angle. This is Thatcher Killian bouncing off one player and then getting nearly tripped up there by Reardon. The flag will come out.
It's going to be an offsides call.
And the Lakeridge fans, as you can hear, are not too happy about that. Bounce pass behind the net for Malkiel. Jesuit is 1 for 3 thus far on the man up. Working behind the net, it is Bain for Malkiel, and now Bechtold. Every time Jesuit has scored as of late, Lakeridge has had a response. Killian, the man who drew the call, spins off one and shoots and scores. That was an impressive display of one man wanting it more.
Great move to get to the middle and get his hands free. Comes out low to high on the shot, off stick side to beat Nolan Darcy. The goal will wipe out the penalty. This comes to become a 2-goal game with 10 minutes left, and everyone in this stadium, probably 3,000 people on their feet as we come to this key face-off.
Thatcher scored the last 2 goals for Jesuit. It's 9-7 now with 10:14 to go in regulation. Killian, Bain, and Dolp all with multiple goals for Jesuit. Cash Gross showing why he's an All-American, wins another one. And now we'll see what Lakeridge can do offensively. It seems like their best offense here in the second half has been when they have those 2-minute possessions. They went quick in the first half. We saw them score a man down, score a man up, score in transition. But here in the second half, it's been finding that great look. It has not been easy to beat Trey Spreen 1v1. McCarty cuts, can't make the catch, and this is a chance for a pickup and going the other way, but we get a whistle.
We've got a loose ball push call against Jesuit, giving the ball back to Lakeridge.
So that is potential momentum shift, as Jesuit looked like they were easily going to pick up the ball with William Gilster. And instead it's Kellen Aird. 9:30 to go, a ton of time left in this state championship game as Lakeridge looks to slay the dragon that is Jesuit. And what a beautiful look there outside. That's on the backside of the goal. Lakeridge fans kind of tricked me there, and I think that was Jason Wilbur who tickled the twine on the back of the cage.
We call that a mom goal.
Oh, well, as someone who did not play lacrosse, that's where I would, if I'm ever going to find the back of the net, that's the part of the net that I would be most likely to find, as the pass in transition comes all the way through, and Nolan Darcy gets there. Darcy's pass finds Ryan Wallace, and Wallace will stretch it back across the field. So teams trade turnovers, or would be turnover for Lakeridge. And now with 8:30 to go, we'll see how quickly Lakeridge elects to move. This is Enzo Federizi, who tries to beat Spreen to the near post, and another save for Trey Spreen.
Federizi again shooting early in the possession. Jesuit perhaps with transition the other way.
Jack across for Hire. Hire absorbs the first big hit and a couple of whacks. Still keeping possession, needs a passing option and finds one in Bechtold. But first, we're going to get a Mike Marcotte timeout for Jesuit. He was not going to see his team lose possession there, although, I mean, give Heyer a lot of credit. He was able to maintain possession of that ball against a lot of pressure. 9-7, 8 minutes to go. So if you look at this game in sections of 4, Jesuit got the first. Now they need 2 more in the final 8, although I'm sure they're looking for that sooner. What's the message here if you're Jesuit? What are you looking to draw up offensively to potentially cut this game back to a 1-goal deficit for the first time since 9:51 to go in the second quarter?
I think they're just trying to run their 2 main games, on ball and off ball. They're trying to set picks for the ball carrier to get the right matchups. They're trying to set screens away to get shooters into shooting space. An interesting play right there. If I'm coaching there, I'm 100% bailing Elliot Heyer out on that timeout because he's under a lot of pressure. But the way he handled that and gets that pass underneath to a cutting Deuce Bechtold, if that play goes on, I'm not sure that ball's not in the net right there.
It's true. I mean, just as that timeout was being called, he was able to find Ryan Jack, who was now in front of 2 defenders. Jesuit will start with the ball just below us here on the left side of the field. This Jesuit side has won 3 consecutive state titles, but for the most part, there's been a little bit of separation in those title games. 12-7 last year, 10-4 over Westland in 2023, 17-9 in 2022 over Lakeridge. They win this one, it will likely be the closest of the 4. Jack just behind Bain there, but able to collect. This is Dolp pulling it out for Jack, far side for Brady Bain, and Bain will pass it behind the cage for George Malkiel. Thatcher Killian scored the last 2 for Jesuit, but he'll pass it out here for Davis Dolp, who's one of 3 players with multiple goals for the Crusaders. Dolp for Jack, triple team, somehow maintains possession, and they'll pull it out. Malkiel for Jack, as it looks like Lakeridge has done a good job of keeping them away from net. Killian has it knocked away, still a battle for it, and Lakeridge unable to collect, and this one will go out of bounds, and it'll stay with Jesuit.
Great play by the Lakeridge D to get the ball on the ground, but they fail to get up and out. Second chance for Jesuit. Lakeridge seemingly not ready for the restart.
Minutes gone by on this possession since the timeout. It is Bechtold for Killian. Thought about the shot from distance. Instead, he gives it off for Davis Dolp. Dolp almost football tackled there. Somehow can maintain possession for a while. Now he tries to cut it back for Jack, who is able to maintain possession and throws it wide on a pass that got deflected. That was a difficult catch for Jack. 6:39 to go in regulation. Jesuit still trails by 2. This is Bechtold. Forced to bring it out for Bain. Bain right back for Bechtold. Low shot gets knocked down by defender, and it's picked up by Nolan Darcy. I think that was Charlie Nauheim who might have gotten in front of that shot.
Lakeridge patient on the clear as they get their offensive personnel on the field.
This is Lamb, the long look, perfect on the dot pass across midfield, and now Lakeridge can get into their offense. 6 minutes to go in regulation. What's the message to your offense right now if you're Kirk Shannon?
Patience. Get the defense sliding. Cut the middle hard from the backside. Don't throw it in until the guy's really open. Force Jesuit to come out and overplay you and make a mistake.
This is the most goals this season that Lakeridge's elite defense has allowed against an Oregon team, but it's the second fewest goals that Jesuit scored against with the smaller player on Aird, and it allowed, I think that was Reardon, a really good look 1v1 against Freem.
Out of the 2-man game, Jesuit tries to double the ball and go for the takeaway. Lakeridge sees it with a great throwback, time and room shot. Beats Spreen, who's maybe just a half a second late, step into the ball.
Really strong placement there on that goal from Reardon, who now joins McCarty and Federizi with multiple goals. 10-7, 5:11 to go. As those 2 goals separated by over 5 minutes. Lakeridge is certainly had the better end of things as that ball's floated back towards cage there. A little bit of a challenging play for Tristan Martin. Darcy will float that one for Nauheim. This game has been played at a Lakeridge pace here in the second half. We've got a whistle, and I think that we're going to get a timeout.
Yep.
So Lakeridge, just before they would have turned it over, gets the timeout. And at 10-7 with 4:46 to go, we kind of going with the same idea here offensively, patience, patience, patience. But also how much do you have to see a very different defense? I think Jesuit showed in that last possession they might have to be even more aggressive here without the ball down 3 with under 5 minutes to go.
The way Lakeridge's offense works, if Jesuit doubles from that spot and the Lakeridge player can handle the pressure, they're going to have a great look off of that first pass. So they just need to make sure that the guys they have on the field are confident in terms of how they're going to carry the ball or executing their stick work correctly so that their body is staying between their stick and their defender on their exits from their dodge, and that their shooters have their feet planted and are ready to let that thing fly when it comes back to them. At the same time, you just got to be careful with the shots you take, because if you have the ball, you just can't get scored on.
Well, and with that, if you're Jesuit, how much more aggressive can you get knowing how well Trey Spreen has played in this game? Because he has made some big saves, especially in similar situations where it's 1v1 against an attacker.
I feel like if they're dodging down the side, I'm not sliding, and I'm trusting him. I'm putting my goalie on an island to make that save, because that save he's made all day. Coming across the middle of the field, I think you've got to slide there.
It'll be Kellen Aird to start the play. 4:46 to go. We'll see just how aggressive Jesuit gets. As again, it's McGarry against Aird. This is where they triple teamed out of the last possession, leading to the Reardon goal. Behind the net, it's Federizi. Enzo working towards the top. 4:26 to go. Both of these teams have had this date circled on their calendar for 365 days, and now just 4:15 separates potentially one of these teams from a championship. Aird against McGarry all the way towards the net. He does shoot it. Spreen makes the save, bounces off the referee, and that will lead to Killian picking it up.
If I'm Coach Marcotte, that is the shot I wanted Lakeridge to take.
Jack will slow it down.
He's got the trailer, 5-on-4, slow break situation.
Killian for Malkiel, and that is the first time Malkiel has, I think, shot the ball all day. And what a big break. That ball hitting off the referee likely would have gone out of bounds and back to Lakeridge, and instead leads to a fast break opportunity.
Statistically, you just don't score that many goals in high-level lacrosse games dodging down the alley there. The goals are scored when you move the ball through X or you move the ball back up top to the backside. Spreen comes up big there, and what a play in transition to find the trailer and then create that goal.
3:49 to go in regulation. Massive face-off, and again, it's Cash Groves winning it. Groves beats Bowie. 3:41 to go. 2-goal lead. We have not seen this be a 1-goal lead since it was 6-4 with a minute to go in the second quarter. As Lakeridge has led ever since going down 1-0. They scored 3 consecutive goals in about a span of 2 minutes. And since then, they have been in the driver's seat. 3:15 to go. Can Jesuit pressure Lakeridge into a bad look or a turnover? Running all the way through is Gavin Hidalgo. And Hidalgo will pass it out top to a player who loses his footing. That's McCarty. Now McCarty's pass just behind, and fortunately Federizi is there behind the net to pick up what would have been a turnover. Federizi. And it's another save from Spreen, denying Jason Wilbur this time. Back-to-back saves from Spreen, and now on the outlet he finds William Gilster.
Gilster plays it pretty conservative after that great breakout.
2:30 to go. Still a lot of time in a 2-goal game.
The last 2 shots Lakeridge has taken, probably ill-advised shots to take.
And Trey Spreen has absolutely gobbled up those shots with no rebound as it's knocked away from Jack. Ball still loose. Players fall into the turf. We've got a whistle, a hold call, and I think that was the right call that time as a Jesuit player was taken out by the leg there as he tried to collect it. Now Lakeridge has a late player coming on, able to get back up. And there's the shot and a score. It is Brady Bain, the hat trick, first player with 3 goals. And just like that, Dave, it's a 1-goal game for the first time since late in the second quarter. And with 1:59 to go, Jesuit now the team with all the momentum.
Self-inflicted wounds from Lakeridge, a lack of discipline taking care of the ball on the offensive end. Jesuit doing the same thing that they did against OES, capitalizing on the mistakes, using them to get back in this game.
If Thomas Bowie wins this faceoff, the Jesuit fans to our right are about to explode. Cash Grove's a lot of pressure on him, and he's been so good. The ball is loose. It's sitting there right in the faceoff spot, still loose, and it is finally picked up by Thatcher Killian. That's the first faceoff win, I believe, in the second half for Jesuit. Goose Bechtold back for Killian, 1:39 to go. How quickly are you looking to score here down by a goal?
I think that you're looking to go. Momentum is all Jesuit's way right now. I think you feel if you're Jesuit, you get the next one, you can get the next one. You want to win this in overtime and not take your chances going to OT.
Remember, these two teams went to OT back in April at Lakeridge, a 5-4 overtime win for the Pacers. As Darcy able to make the save on Jack, but Malkiel backs it up, and we've got a timeout with 1:16 to go. I think both of us went into Wednesday knowing this was the most likely matchup, and it was a terrific matchup on paper. To me, this game has already exceeded expectations with how good both of these teams have played. It's rare to see Jesuit as the team having to come back from behind, but we are seeing a masterclass here late, and maybe Lakeridge struggling a little bit as that team playing from ahead against Jesuit on a couple of those shots. 1:16 to go. Who are you looking to get the ball into their hands if you're Jesuit?
It's a tough call. Brady Bain has been coming up big here late in the game. I think that you want to maybe get a two-man game with whoever's guarded by the short sticks and one of your attackmen on the ball side. Look to cut somebody through the middle from the off-ball side. Lakeridge-wise, you gotta be careful not to get a penalty called on you right now. But expect and then expect Jesuit to try and score fast enough to have another face-off in regulation in a game where the face-off situation is in Lakeridge's favor. It's a better idea for Jesuit to try to have a chance to win it in regulation than to go to overtime.
And it also feels like Jesuit is the team more likely to score quickly. Yep. Lakeridge is scoring on 2- and 3-minute possessions. It's 10-7 with 5:11 to go in favor of Lakeridge. Goals at 3:49 from George Malkiel and 1:59 Bain have cut it to 10-9. It's the closest it's been since late in the second. We have not been tied since it was 4-4 with 10:52 to go in the second quarter. Off the restart, Dolp behind the net for Bechtold, and now swung around back up top for Killian. He's got 2 goals in the contest, fakes the handoff for Jack, working against the long pole, still working, loses the ball, and it's picked up for a moment, I thought, by Tristan Martin. Ball's loose, and now Martin does have it.
Wild scrum, that might be the game.
Well, if they can hold on to it. Now it's all about keep away. Pushing it up the sideline is Beckett Godfrey. No, that's Kelly Lamb, 20, not 10. I should have recognized the size. We've got a whistle and a violation against Lakeridge.
So Lakeridge goes in and out of the box right there under 2 minutes.
36 seconds to go, and now it's all on Jesuit needing to score as Lakeridge turns it over on a mental mistake. 25 seconds left right now, and now Jesuit's just looking, can we preserve our season? Can we preserve our four-peat? It's Jack with it, working against the defender. Jack for Bechtold, pass is knocked down, almost picked up by Malkiel, and there's Darcy with it. 9 seconds to go. He'll fling it downfield. 5 and 4. That ball will go out of bounds with 1 second left. And that should do it, as we're going to see Spreen look.
Lakeridge needs to be careful not to get a delay of game penalty running on the field here.
Spreen will fling it downfield, and that will do it. The four-peat will not happen. For the first time since 2013, Lakeridge are your state champions. Their sixth title, you see them flooding the field. This was a Lakeridge team that had lost in 2022 and 2024. They came back with a vengeance in 2025, beating Jesuit twice by a single goal. And Dave, if anybody was going to end this streak for Jesuit, it was going to be this group of seniors for Lakeridge who had heartbreak twice, and a group that's sending a ton of players to D1, able to go out on top today.
What a great rivalry and a great game that we saw today. Back and forth, Lakeridge's offense, I think, in terms of what they were able to put up against Jesuit, definitely exceeded expectations. But then in the end of the game, with the game on the line, Lakeridge's star-studded defense full of D1 commits with an All-American goalie rises to the challenge, gets the last stop again after a call doesn't go their way, and Lakeridge are your 2025 OHSLA state champions.
17 seniors for this Lakeridge team, a lot of them on the defensive side, 3 All-Americans, all on the defensive side. One of the best face-off men, and in the end, it was the face-offs, the goalie, and the defense that proved enough for Lakeridge, and just enough offense. It was a complete team effort for Lakeridge to take down this Jesuit team, who you got to give a lot of credit to. Came back, played from behind, nearly did it in tying this game up. What a terrific high school lacrosse game that we were able to witness here today at Ida B. Wells High School.
And one thing that you'll see, there's a lot of familiarity between the players on these teams. As you see them go through the handshake lines, you'll see nothing but respect from both teams. You'll see lots of hugs. These players are very familiar with each other. They've competed with each other and against each other time and time again through their careers, starting in youth lacrosse. Some of them will continue to do that for years to come in the future. And what a game.
16 seniors on the Jesuit side, who sadly will not go out with the 4th straight title for the Crusaders, but just a tremendous run for this team. I think that it's now 77-7 over the past 4 years. These are two extremely talented teams. You're going to see a lot of these players go on to play at the collegiate level. You've mentioned it over the broadcast. Jesuit has a lot of players who came out of the Lakeridge youth group, so they do have that tight connection. They're going to continue to go on and play club. Just a phenomenal contest. I don't want to put you on the spot, but do you want to give a 3 stars for this contest of 3 players who maybe made the biggest impact or made a key impact late in this game for either side?
Oh, that's a tough one. I really think that, you've got to give one star to Lakeridge's defense as a unit. They all came together, trusted each other. They slid at the right times. They held at the right times to really keep Jesuit's offense in check. You've got to give one to Cash Groves on his own, huge in terms of his play at the X, and then maybe the attack unit of Lakeridge for their ball control down the stretch and really working together to get the ball inside and find some finishes there. Hard to single guys out, though. It's a real team win for Lakeridge, one that I'm sure their coaches are going to be super proud of.
2 outstanding performances. Unfortunately, one team had to come out on top today, and it is the number 2 seed Lakeridge Pacers. Their 21st win. They did not lose a game this year to a team from the state of Oregon. 17-0 for Jesuit. 2 losses this year, both by 1 goal, both to this Lakeridge program. I'm sure that both of these teams will be back next year and heavy favorites to get to the semis, if not further. But today it is Kurt Shannon and his squad, their 6th state title in school history. overcoming Jesuit by a 10-9 score. For all of our Oregon Sports Beats crew, for my color commentator Dave Sanford, for myself, Seth Orensky, we hope you enjoyed this game. It was absolutely electric to be here live. It was a tremendous performance by both teams. We really enjoyed all the action on Wednesday and then again today during the triple header, and we hope you did as well. That'll do it for us here from Ida B. Wells High School. It's the number 2 seed Lakeridge defeating the number 1 seed Jesuit by a 10-9 score.